This is my dad's story from about 35 years ago. I will tell it from his perspective exactly as it was told to me. I grew up on the outskirts of Portland, Oregon, and when I was younger, my friends and I went camping pretty often, as it was something that we could do and drink and have fun being underage. When I was about 18, my friends and I decided one weekend to go camping near a lake called Small Fry. It's not too far from Portland, but far enough to get away. It was a pretty last-minute plan, so we didn't bring much other than some blankets and a case of beer my older brother bought for us. After school on Friday, we headed out, and once we got out there, we found a cleared-out area that we could easily park our car in. At first, we made a small fire and drank a few beers, but we quickly got bored and decided that we would go out for a midnight swim. The area we parked in wasn't near an actual trail to the lake, but it was only about a half a mile away, and we knew what direction to go in. My 3 friends and I were pretty buzzed, as we were somewhat lightweights at that age. We decided to head out into the forest towards where the lake was. Now this was back in the 80s, so we didn't have cell phones with maps on them to double check. We trudged through the forest, completely sure that we were going the right way. I think it was about 15 minutes since we left the campsite, and suddenly the air around us changed. It was a warm, nearly summer night, and it was probably around 70 degrees. But as we kept walking, it felt like it was getting colder and colder. Suddenly I felt all the hairs on my body stick straight up, and the 4 of us all quickly turned around and ran back towards the campsite. We didn't talk, not even a word muttered to each other about turning back around. I've never ran that fast in my life. As bad as it sounds, my mindset in that moment was just I couldn't be the slowest, as I didn't want it to be my life ending that night. I can't explain why, but at that exact moment, we were all in that fight or flight mode, and we decided to run for our lives. I remember feeling as if there was a presence behind me. Not even a person, but just something. Something that wanted to harm us. We bolted back to the car, quickly unlocked it, and we all hopped in and drove straight home. We left the fire burning at the campsite, and all the clothes and blankets we brought with us were left as well. The car ride home was completely silent. We got back to my house. My friends got in their cars and left, and we never talked about that night since. A few weeks later, it was finally summer. My family went on yearly camping trips with a few other families that were close to us. One night, as a group of about 20 of us were sitting by the fire telling stories and just talking about life in general, someone from one of the other families brought up a weird hiking story they had recently experienced. He explained that he and his wife, along with a few of their friends, decided to go hiking on a Saturday. When they arrived, they were surprised to see that no one else was out there. It was a known hiking spot, so they figured that it would be pretty busy on a Saturday. The group of them hiked up the trail, and they soon got to the top of a cliff that overlooked a lake. When they got to the top, he felt as if he had no voice. The group of them quickly turned around and began to hike back down, walking much faster than normal. They didn't talk. They all just apparently decided that they did not want to stay, not even to take in the view. They had brought lunches with them, and all talked about taking some pictures too. Instead, they all hurried down the trail, not talking to each other at all. They all just had this gut feeling that they had to get out of there. None of them spoke to each other on the way home, and no one brought it up since. I asked where this hike took place, never mentioning that I had a similar experience. The man said that this all took place on Small Fry Lake. That honestly scared the crap out of me, as I had just had that same experience. I did not want to say anything though, as my parents were visibly concerned, and I didn't want them trying to tell me that I couldn't go camping in that area again. This might not be the scariest story, but I'm curious to know if anyone else has been to this area and had a similar experience.